What's going on, guys? I don't know how many dudes can actually relate to what I'm about to talk about, but I'm sure a lot of guys can relate to this. I knew from a young age that things was gonna be a disaster, and I don't know how many guys can relate to this, but when it comes to women, you know, ever since I was a teenager, I knew that it was gonna be a disaster for me. I knew that things was not gonna work out. And I don't know how many dudes can relate to this, but I'm sure a lot of guys predicted their future from the time they were very young. Um, I knew things wasn't gonna work out for my behind, you know, because you know I pretty much predicted this back when I was an adolescent, uh, based on my experiences, uh, based on things that I was told by people, family members. Um, I pretty much knew that my love life wasn't going to amount to nothing as a teenager. You know, that's why I say, and I've always stated this, you pretty much have an idea of how your love life is going to play out from the time you're a teen. And I knew that more than likely things was not going to get better. And you know what? I was absolutely right. And I'm sure a lot of guys knew that things wasn't going to work out for them. I mean, you was hoping that things was going to work out for you, but you knew deep down more than likely when it come to females, your life, your love life wasn't going to amount to nothing. I knew at 15 that I wasn't going to get married. I knew I wasn't going to have no love life, and I knew that I would never get nobody. I knew that as an adolescent. I predicted my whole life, you know. See, you can tell how your life is pretty much going to play out when you're an adolescent based on how people treat you, how people perceive you. You can get a generalization of how things are going to play out in your life. And I knew from the time I was a teenager that things wasn't going to play out good, because usually how you start is how you finish. If you had a bad start, then you're going to have a bad finish. Um, this is why I never understood why guys try to get on these dudes so much and want to tell them to self improve. If a person has been effed up their whole life, you can't improve that. That's a person that's just effed all the way up. You know, if you've been jacked up your whole life, been in a bad position your whole life, uh, no amount of self improvement is going to fix that. And that's why I say, even back when I was a teenager, I knew I was going to be jacked up. That's why I say, I'm sure a lot of guys knew that they was destined for hell even when they was a teenager. They knew nothing wasn't going to work out for them. They knew that they would never have a wife. They knew that they would never have children. I knew it, you know. I knew from the beginning that I was destined to lose. And a lot of guys know this, you know. That's why I say your adolescent years pretty much tell you how your life is going to play out. Them teen years are crucial because, see, them teen years are going to let you know how it's going to play out for you, you know. And I pretty much predicted how my life was going to play out as far as women was concerned, because I knew as a teenager that nothing was ever going to work out for me. I knew I was never going to have anybody. And a lot of guys knew they wasn't going to never have nobody. You know, there are certain guys, when it comes to dating relationships, there are certain guys who were destined to lose. I knew from day one that I was destined to lose. If I was to ever get a tattoo, I get destined to lose tatted on my chest. Some people were destined to lose. Everybody wasn't destined to win. And see, the only time I've gotten to a point in my life to where I only like talking to people that can relate to my struggle. One thing I had to understand in life, never befriend people who don't have your same demon. And I'm gonna give you a explanation of what I'm talking about. If you're a person who have a drug addiction, you want to surround yourself with people who have a drug addiction. If you're a person who has a pornography problem, you want to surround yourself with people who have a porn problem. If you're a person who has depression, you want to surround yourself with people who have depression. If you're a person that is an outcast or a loser, you want to surround yourself with other outcasts and losers. You want to gravitate to people that have your same adversity in life. That's what I had to learn. People that got your same problem. Never befriend people who are in a better position than you. That's what I had to learn when it come to people. Because see, you run into problems when you deal with people that don't have your same struggle. That's what I had to learn. And that's why I've gotten to a point, the only type of cats that I really want to deal with are men who are not selected by the opposite sex. I couldn't be friends with men who have wives and kids because I don't have nothing in common with those types of men. That's why I say always befriend people who have your same demon. And like I say, I know for a fact, a lot of guys knew that things wasn't going to work out for them. You know, a lot of guys, it didn't take for them to get in their 20s, and it definitely didn't take for them to get in their 30s for them to realize that things wasn't going to work out for them. Like I stated, I knew as a teenager nothing wasn't going to work out for me. And that's why I've come to the realization that some guys were destined to lose. I recall Heat and Succeed. He said years ago that attraction is predetermined. Attraction is predetermined. Some dudes were born to get pussy, and some dudes were born to not get any. That's what I had to realize, you know. But it's funny how the guys who've never been selected, these are the guys that people want to tell them to change. And these are the guys that people want to attack. I notice when you're a man who's never been selected, when you're a non-select man, people live to attack you. They live to attack you. And this is why I say you don't want to surround yourself with men who are select men. If you're a non-select man, don't befriend no dude who is a select man because he's going to turn on you and he's going to reveal that he really is an enemy of you. He really is an enemy to you. And that's what I had to learn, because I see more than ever that people feel some kind of way about non-select men, you know. But my question is, if you a dude who's not wanted, how the hell is it your fault that you're not wanted? That's like blaming somebody for being a F up. If you a F up in life, it's not your fault. Maybe you was just dealt a bad deck of cards. Maybe it's God's fault. That's how people need to think. Like I say all the time, a lot of these dudes that's in these positions, we all knew from the time we were teenagers that things wasn't gonna work out. You know, I was hoping like hell that things worked out for me, but I knew more than likely they wasn't gonna work out, and I was right. You know, things did not work out. But it's sad that we all knew our life was going to be a disaster. As far as our love life, we all knew from a young age that we was never going to get nobody. It's sad that it had to be this way, but this is the position that some of us were meant to be in. And one thing and another thing I had to also understand, some people were meant to be effed up in life. I'm a firm believer of that. Some people were meant to be effed up. Some people were meant to experience pain, mistreatment, adversity. Everybody wasn't born to be a winner. But on that note, you guys have a good day. Happy Sunday.